So we've talked about what is bias, what is allyship, and there's this real thing of doing the work. You've said a lot of times you need to be an active ally. Why would I want to do the work? What's in it for me? Let's talk about this kind of why is it good?
Why is it good? Because you're going to empower yourself to make change happen. And remember what I said, we need people like you. Okay, and that's what's really, really important. I think it's really easy not to do the work. It's really easy to put everybody in a box. We're not the same. We are uniquely different. And I think the more we do the work, the less uncomfortable we become. Okay? I often have people say to me, Chika, where do I start? Remember, I said this earlier, start where you find the most difficult. You do the work. Okay? Educate yourself, learn, unlearn, relearn. And that's one of the best ways of empowering yourself. And that's why it's so important. And you've got to find time to do it. You know, there's no point saying, oh, I don't have time. You've got to find the time to do it.
Yeah, it's so powerful, that piece about learning and how empowering that is, because we are talking about, particularly if we are talking about people who are different from me, we can get very uncomfortable about that. And so the more I can go and learn, I remember a book I read called Subtle Acts of Exclusion, which was really describing how people experience things like racism. You know, those little things, like you say, people wandering around after you in the store, feeling like you need to have a receipt at all times in case somebody comes up to you and says, did you pay for that? Mm-hmm. I can show you the receipt. Mm-hmm. These subtle acts. Mm-hmm. We have started today filming, and I've made a comment on the colour of your skin, and I've heard people say that it's more difficult to film darker skin and capture that well on camera. Well, that's a subtle act of exclusion. I'm saying that your skin is more difficult to get on camera. It's different. Mm-hmm. It's not more difficult. Mm-hmm. So I have done, and again, we talk about making mistakes. I make mistakes all the time. There is a classic example. I have said something that is an act of exclusion against you. And the more that I educate myself on those things, the more I can spot myself doing them, then I think there's something about, if I'm doing that work, I'm doing that in relationship with somebody, it creates that safe space for me to make mistakes. Of course. And you're more than likely to open up as well. So yeah, it feels a bit for me like everybody wins.
Totally, and that's the key thing. And it's so funny, Helen. So even some of those examples you gave, I can add another one to that. You know, a person clutching their bag when a person of colour walks past, or, you know, as a person of colour paying for something with cash, and the person, you know, lifts the money up, you know, is it real? And it's like, yes, it is real. This is my hard-earned cash. So I think it really is important that we do that. But you know what I normally say to people? Immerse yourself in content from groups which are not your own. Really important to have a diverse group of friends, so you can have these really important conversations, you know. And I cannot overemphasize how we need allies, and we need more allies, and allies need allies, because it's a very, very lonely world.
I want to try and bring this to life in, you know, I'm working in a shop, or I'm at school, I'm in the playground. How does it make life better for all of us if we've got allyship being seen in the playground or when I'm working in my shop on a Saturday?
Do you know something? Think about what you do as an ally, as an active ally, as a good ally. If you see something that is just not right, what would you do? You say something. And it's so important that we do that, okay? Be it somebody being picked on, okay? Be it, you know, somebody being harassed by the police. It's so important to say something. And that's just reminded me, London Underground has got these posters, and it's allyship posters. And it really is for women who get harassed, okay? And they have things on there that says, you know, if you see somebody being harassed, go up to that person and say, are you okay? Start a conversation with them, because it helps them, and it helps their the person who is, you know, attacking them. So I think having an ally, it just means we are not alone. And Helen, do you know something? There's sometimes, I'm quite vocal, so I will talk a lot, but there's just sometimes when I just need an ally just to be there, just to support me, just to say something. And I think that in itself is really, really powerful. And this is why we need more people to be active allies.
I love this because it makes it so simple, right? We can talk about big, complicated words like performative allyship and anti-racism education. These are big words. They sound scary. Actually, to say, I don't want to feel like I'm on my own. I could do with a friend. I'd love it if you could listen and hear about my experience. I'd love it if you could be that person who would do that listening. I'd love it if you'd stick up for me when I get picked on. That's real for all of us in any context. And it just shows us that if we're not feeling alone and if we feel really good about supporting each other, everything is better, right?
Totally. And I always say, let's celebrate diversity, right? Isn't that what it's all about? We're not the same, we're all different. But let's celebrate our differences. Let's celebrate that diversity, because that diversity gives us strength.